Welcome to B.A.Showoff, the Dance Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Becky.
And I'm Alexandra. And whether you're a dance coach, dance parent, or a dancer yourself, this is the show for you. But this week, we're especially geared towards our dance coaches.
We're officially on the road and taking our show-offs with us.
Over the next few weeks, we'll be traveling to some incredible events. And first up is the NDCA Coaches Conference in Dallas.
That's right. This week, we're coming to you with behind the scenes of our time at the conference, where we got to learn from some amazing professionals in the dance industry.
We learned from some top professionals such as Amanda Gaines, Melissa McGee, Rob Miller, Carrie Smith, Mandy Yip, and so many more.
Come on, show-offs, let's get going.
Hey, Showoffs, we just landed here in Dallas. We'll see you guys at the Coaches Conference. Checking in. This is one of our favorite parts because we get to see all of the coaches we're going to be spending our weekend with. So what's your name?
Derek.
And did you teach at the conference this year?
I did.
And what did you teach?
I taught how to incorporate acro into choreography safely and transitionally.
And what was your favorite part about the conference?
Getting to see so many friends that I've gotten to know over the years and network with new faces and just get to see everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So what's your name?
My name is Mandy Yip.
And who are you here with?
I'm here with Acrobatic Arts.
Awesome. And how many years have you been coming to the conference?
I think it's 7. I'd have to go back into my calendar and see, but it's been many years.
Awesome. And then what did you teach at the conference this year?
So I always teach the acro, and this year we did a class on how to teach side and front aerials, which was really fun. And then I taught another class on trending tricks. So when we see trending competition and on the national stages, and how to break those things down for dance coaches.
Awesome. And what was your favorite part of the conference?
Oh, it's seeing all the people. The people are just awesome here. It's just such a friendly, amazing environment, and I love coming to this conference and see my friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, so what's your name?
My name's Patrick Carmichael.
And who are you here with?
I'm here with the Ohio State University.
Awesome. And how many years have you been coaching?
I am going into my 17th season.
Oh, wow. So what?
Yeah, very long time. I'm like, is it 16? Is it 17? Is it 17? Is it 18? I don't know. It's like around 17.
Love that. And what's your favorite part about the conference?
My favorite part about the conference is being able to hear from other coaches, their experiences, what they're going through, because we're all going through the same thing, so why not help each other through all the issues?
Yeah, absolutely. And what was your favorite class at the conference?
My favorite class had to be, I'd say Peyton's class. She did a class on alumni connection, and I just think it was very well done, very well put together, and she was able to connect with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, so what's your name? Kelly Bearhide. And how many years have you been coming to the conference?
Oh, I think I was starting out the second one. So I don't know how many years that was. They all run together.
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
And we actually just took your class. So can you talk to us a little bit about what your class is about?
Which one did you take? I taught 3.
The judges class. The judging class.
Oh, okay. So the credential class.
Okay.
Okay, so what we just did was we did a scoring lab, which we evaluated 4 routines and came to a consensus on what rubric range those routines should be.
That's awesome. How did you get started?
Well, I was a dancer in high school and immediately started coaching and judging. So I have been coaching and judging since I was 18 years old. I am now 66. You do the math.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So what's your name?
My name is Rachel Householder Bailey.
And who are you here with?
Pacific Northwest Dance Team Consulting. It's my own consulting company.
Awesome. And what's your favorite part about the conference?
Honestly, my favorite part is meeting new people and making those relationships. It's so amazing. You literally have people from all over the country that come together because we all want to do better. We all want to learn. So that's 100% my favorite part.
Absolutely. And what was your favorite class?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was this great class by Kelly Schneider, and it was about strength training for our dancers. And I thought it was so awesome because a lot of, especially high school, we don't normally get them in the weight room. We don't normally do all those things. But as soon as we can learn and take that education and put that in their bodies and get them the tools, like the foundational skills that they need to grow and be better technically, is phenomenal. So that was for sure my favorite.
Awesome. And how many years have you been doing this consulting?
Consulting, this is only my 3rd year. Yeah, 3rd year.
And how many years have you been coming to the convention?
This is my 6th.
So,
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, so what are your names?
I'm Stephanie Rivera. I'm Stephanie Moss.
I'm Monica Barrios.
I'm Stephanie Rocha.
And where are we from?
Miami.
Awesome. And Stephanie, what was your favorite part about the conference?
Just getting to network and really just have my feelings validated. It's really amazing to be amongst my colleagues and professionals in the field, and it's just great getting to learn from everyone.
Awesome. And this is your first year at the conference. What was your favorite class?
Honestly, I really liked the leadership courses with Rob Miller. I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm actually interested in bringing him in to talk to our team leaders. I feel like everything he had to say was valuable, and I want to share that with our team.
And if you could teach one class at the conference in the future, what would it be?
I think bridging the gap between middle and high school. Coming from a school that's a middle and a high school, we see those needs going from one to the next, and I know a lot of teachers out there aren't aware of that. Even being the president of the Date Association, when we have our meetings, we have high school teachers who say that middle schoolers are coming in without that understanding. So that might be a cool class to have at something like this.
Awesome. And what's your favorite thing that you learned?
I think just also like the best practices, like furthering as a coach, as a teacher, like things that I can incorporate into my classroom, things to help my leaders lead better. And I think that overall, like all of the things that were presented at all of the different classes were really beneficial.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
So what's your name?
Kayla Trapani.
And who are you here with?
I'm here with St. Augustine High School.
Awesome. And what was your favorite part about the conference?
Carrie Smith, period. All of her quotes.
Actually, she was so funny.
Yes.
And what was your favorite class?
It's a toss-up between Erin's class and I think Amanda's class, because I like learning about storytelling and how you can get kids who aren't as comfortable using their face, comfortable using their face.
Exactly. And how many years have you been going to the conference?
I think this is my 4th year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. So what are your names?
I'm Abby Jo,
I'm Sarah.
and we're with Dance Team Union and the College Classic.
Awesome. And what did you guys do here at the conference this weekend?
We got to mingle and connect with so many coaches, ones that we see at our competitions and new ones to come to our camps, regionals, and nationals event. And as coaches ourselves, just get to connect with everyone and talk about our passion for dance.
And what's your favorite part about the conference?
My favorite part is we spend all the time, I guess, like with our dancers, and we're filling our own cups and can connect and inspire and get ready for the season and learn from coaches what they want out of camps, regionals, nationals, and make that happen for them. With DTU, we are always here for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi. So what's your name?
Victoria Morrow.
And how many years have you been coaching?
5.
What was your favorite part about the conference?
My favorite part of the conference is just getting to know all these new coaches and making new relationships with everyone around the nation.
And what was your favorite class?
Amanda's Games class, which was on Friday.
Oh, yes. How many years have you been coming to the conference?
This is my second year attending the NDCA conference.
Hi, so what's your name?
Terry Rowe.
And who are you?
I'm the Executive Director of the National Dance Coaches Association.
Our queen. And what's your favorite part about the conference every year?
I think the networking. I mean, there's there's like 30 hours of professional development and classes, but I think it's the networking and coaches getting support from other coaches and the mentoring, just the friendships.
Well, we love coming every year. Thank you for all you've done for all the coaches.
Thank you. Come back next year.
We hope you enjoyed our behind the scenes of the NDCA Coaches Conference in Dallas. So Mom, why don't we talk a little bit about what we learned, some of the classes we took, and what we got to do at the conference. How many years have you been going to the conference?
So I've been 5 times to the conference. There was a year I wasn't able to go in between, but I've been there 5 times every year. It's bigger. I meet new people. There's more people attending, so it's really cool to see how much it's grown in the past few years. And it's cool because they do it in the same location every 2 years, and then they go somewhere else. So I've been able to be at different locations. I did Nashville 2 times. I did Arizona 2 times, and then this is our first year in Dallas. So I think it's in Dallas again next year. It's always the same weekend. It's mid-May, so it's a good time for me to go. Even though it's a little crazy at that point of the year, but when isn't it not crazy when you're teaching and you're coaching, right? So I highly recommend for people to attend if they haven't been. If you're coaching or you're aspiring to coach, definitely I think that it's a great experience and you should definitely go. This is your second year, right?
This is my second year. Last year I did the Phoenix one. So it was really exciting that I got to do a new location. I love Dallas. I had never been, and it was so much fun to go. But it was really cool because last year I got to meet a lot of new coaches that I had never come across before, because I feel like unless I meet them at UDA, I don't get to really, meet anybody. Mm-hmm. But the conference was full of coaches at all levels and at all that attend all these different events. So there's some coaches that they only do anything in schools, that they only do it's like a spirit program at schools. Then there's other coaches that do UDA, and then there's other coaches that do NDA or whatever it is. So it's really cool that you got to meet all these different kinds of coaches and connect with all of these people. And they give you a lot of opportunities. So there's coaches that have been there that have been coaches for 25 years. There was a coach that was 45 years. They just won their award for 45 years, and that was super impressive. But then, there's coaches that are just starting out. And I think one of the coolest things about the NDCA conference is that they have that mentoring program. So if you're a brand new coach, have never coached before, you really are kind of lost, this is a great place for you to go, because it gives you the ability to connect with all of these coaches that have a lot of years under their belt. But then in addition, you can actually join a mentoring program where you get a coach that has, I think it's a minimum of 10 years of experience. And they basically walk you through your whole year. So there's somebody that you can go to, that they guide you. I think they try to pair you with somebody that has a similar program to yours. So if you're trying to do something more competitive, go that route, you're able to do that. If you want to have something that's a little bit more in the spare program, you're able to be with somebody who has something similar to that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool because I mean, I didn't have that growing up and doing all this coaching. I had to learn it all on my own, make mistakes and learn from my mistakes. So it's cool that, you know, I could be a mentor and I could share that with somebody, and I could help other coaches not make the same mistakes I did, or even tell them, hey, this is what I didn't work for me, but it might work for you if you do this because, you know, you have a different program. So, I mean, I think of how I've been able to help you, and you started your program, and then you would come and you would ask me for advice, and I could help you and, you know, still let you do your thing, but kind of give you a little bit of guidance, and you're able to, you know, go with it and make your mistakes, or, you know, say, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna do it because she told me that's not a good idea, so let me not do it, let me do this instead. So yeah, I think that mentor program is a great idea. I also think it's great because we're in a setting that is not competitive. And I think as coaches, we're always in a competitive setting. So when we meet other coaches, it's in a competition.
Right.
It's very hard to like really be friendly with other coaches when you're competing against each other. And coming to the conference, you're kind of being set up to become friends. So I think it's been really cool for us in Florida. Like, we've created this nice group of coaches who have been coming together, and we look forward to going to the conference and hanging out and being there because, you know, Florida's a huge state and we're all the way down here south. And now we have, you know, cool friends that are in Orlando and St. Augustine that, you know, we come to the conference and we get to hang out and we have a good time and we learn from each other and we connect throughout the year and stuff. So I think that is probably the biggest plus for me, is that I'm able to meet these coaches and be friends with them, because it is so hard when you're at UDA or DTU or any competition to become friends with the coaches. And I love that they set us up that way. And doing the mentorship is a great way as well, because you're making a friend right off the bat. And this is a really tough, you know, place to be. You know, if you're going to start coaching, it's very competitive. And, you know, a lot of these programs have really been built up many, many years. You know, you look at a school like St. Thomas More, they've been around for, you know, their dance program for 35, 40 years. And they're well established. So if you're a coach that's just establishing the program, it's nice to be able to talk to a coach who's been around for so long, with a program that's been around so long, so that you could kind of learn from them and not, you know, not just be thrown out there to the wolves and make mistakes. So another thing that I really like about the conference is the judges program that we have. That, you know, I love to judge, and I really enjoy judging, and I enjoy being, you know, going through a refresher course to become a better judge, so that every time I do go judge, I do better. You know, I'm always trying to improve what I do. And it's very hard not to be subjective. It's very hard when you get there and you're judging, like, to step away, and, you know, you might be judging a team that you've competed against, or you might be judging a team that you kind of know, you know, the person, and you want to be able to be as fair as possible, because at the end of the day, you know, you're going to these competitions and you're being judged so that you could be the best you can be at nationals. And so I enjoyed, you know, being there and having them give feedback to how we could be better judges and how we could help teams get to their potential. Because, you know, when you see them in the beginning of the season, you know, they're still like, you know, getting a little, you know, tweaks out of their routine and trying to figure out what works, what formation worked, you know, little soloist parts and stuff, and giving them feedback to try to help them get to that point for nationals. I love it. I think that it's, you know, it's very rewarding for me, and it's very rewarding if you're lucky enough to see the difference. Like, if you're able to see that dance in the beginning of the season and then judge them again later on in the season, and see the difference and see, like, oh my gosh, that looks so much better, or that formation, like, you know, was better before, and look what they did with it now, or whatever it is, to see the changes. So yeah, that judges course, I think, for anybody who wants to be a judge, or even if you want to know a judge's perspective, it's a great course to take so that you could be a better judge, or you could understand a little bit better the score sheets when you're being judged and when you're going to competition.
Yeah, and, you know, this was the first time I had taken that judges course, and I thought it was great because I've judged things before. I've judged, you know, events. I've judged competitions before. I've judged things before, but it was really great being able to sit there and have like, we would discuss. So we would watch a routine, we would discuss why we scored them certain ways, and then they would explain to us why, like certain things that we needed to actually look for in those specific categories that we were marking and taking off points for, or judging them in a certain way, so that it made it more of a fair system across the board. And it's exactly what you were saying, to make it more objective, less subjective. So it really was a good way to kind of get everybody on the same page, making sure that we're judging everybody accurately, not just based on our opinions. And something I loved was that there's different levels to it, which I didn't really understand. I was able to sit into the level 2 judging course, and hear, because I know that you're getting your level 2 certification. And it was really interesting to see that there's like so many things that, had I not done the level 1, that I would have never learned the level 2. Like, it was just very cool. But I think across the board, it also just helps me as a coach, because then I also get to understand how I could better my routines from a judge's point of view. Because now that I've been able to sit down and see those checkpoints and bullet points and understand how everybody is looking at my routine, now I'm able to go in and look at it from an outsider's perspective, which is
And
great.
I liked how they there's some competitions that have the artistic score sheet and then the technical score sheet,
Right.
and how they taught you how to be a technical judge, what you're looking for, and how to make sure you're just judging the technique, versus when you're the artistic judge, that you're just judging the artistic side. So it's a great course to take, and I'm very glad that I took it again. I think it's a course that I take every year when I go to the conference. Besides that, I loved Rob Miller's class, that he was like our big speaker in the opening. Just talking about being a good leader, being a good coach. I really enjoyed hearing what he had to say. We always need to validate ourselves. Like, am I a good enough coach? Am I doing a good job? I'm doing this for many years. I'm stuck in a rut. What can I do to be different? What can I do to, bring excitement back into the team? I don't want to be bored. So it's always good to take these kind of courses to kind of find little things that, I could do that, or, that sounds like a fun thing, or something that my team would, benefit from. And his class and everything he talked about was like really well set up, and how we could be harder workers, better workers. There was something that he talked about, like, we need to celebrate work. Like, we need to celebrate being able to do what we do, celebrate, working hard. There's people who, like, they don't care to work. They don't care to be better. They're okay being average. And we should celebrate being able to work harder, being able to be better. So, that's something that I'm going to do with my dancers this year, and I'm going to focus on them realizing how lucky they are that they get to do this every day, that they get to, dance, that they get to try harder, that, they're hitting their turns, but they could do it better. Let's do it again. You're so lucky you get to do it again. And that was something I took from his class. I mean, I don't know if that's, everything that he wanted to get to us, but that grabbed me in everything he was talking about.
Yeah, one of the things that I loved that he said, and he like started with it, was never stop learning, never stop changing. And that's, just attending the coaches conference is like a great way to just follow that motto. Because you do, like, you've been doing this for so many years, and it's never to invalidate that you probably have more knowledge than more than half of us. But there's so many different methods that different coaches bring in, or just like even different students that you have that teach you how to evolve and just always constantly be learning, growing, and trying to do more. Another thing that I really loved that he said was to learn to be tolerant, but teach what not to be tolerant of. So to be tolerant of people, not all behaviors. And that was something that resonated with me, because it was something that it showed that you needed to be empathetic, but you don't necessarily need to you don't need to put up with certain things either. So he really had a lot of insight from a perspective that he wasn't a dance coach, but it's just all across the board that all coaches, that we all can relate
Yes.
on a certain level.
Yeah, and it's funny because I love to see like quotes from like basketball coaches or basketball players or a football player or football coach, because I think that at the end of the day the team aspect is the same.
Yes.
Like everybody is in it for the same thing. You're there for the team. You work hard for the team. It's not an I thing. It's not me because I can't do it by myself. It's, the whole team has to do it together. And so I always love to hear what coaches, whether they're dance coaches or not, what they have to say and what works for them to get their team in play, and how they get their team motivated and how they get their team to to where you want them to be. There's different movies that I've played for my students in the past, and it's football movies and stuff like that, and it's for exactly that, is to see the importance of team and working together. And I think that Rob Miller really talked about that a lot. He talked about the team aspect of it and what we should be doing as coaches. So I think that it's a class that every coach should take. And I think every coach, no matter how many years you've been doing it, you could refresh yourself on being a better coach. We get stuck in our ways and we're so busy, and it's just like go. This is what I do. This is what I do. On September we do this. October we do this, and you don't stop to say, my kids are not excited anymore, or my kids are they've done it already. And even though it's a new set of kids, it's not the same as it was 10 years ago to do this. So finding new ways to do what you do is always a good thing. So
yeah, the kids are the most important thing at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Well, one of my favorite classes was Amanda Gaines' class. That she just so much knowledge in that brain.
She has a great personality.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Like she's also just so much fun to learn from.
Yeah.
And she's such a personable person that and she's so humble. I love her.
And I like how she just laughs at herself.
She does. She laughs at herself. And she's just and she has these one-liners that are just where did that come from? But she was so great. She actually did a class on performance. But what she did was explain how she breaks down her routine to up performance. So, for example, she showed us the video of the routine from Worlds, that they did a completely different routine. They set it up. I think she said it was 6 weeks that they practiced
something like that.
Crazy.
Yes, because there was some type of rules in Worlds that she couldn't do the routine that she did at Nationals. So they couldn't have a prop. I think it was one of them.
Something like that.
So there was different things like that. So they couldn't do it was pointless to do it without the props.
Right.
So yeah, they did their camp dance.
Their camp dance, which is amazing. It was such a great routine. And a lot of it was about communication and projection to the audience and getting everybody on the same page and understanding that what the dancers were trying to communicate to the audience. Mm-hmm. So she did a whole activity, and I won't break it down completely, but it was a storyboard. And the storyboard basically was divided into 8 sections. So the first thing she did was she had her kids sit down and listen to the song. And they would basically raise their hand at any point where they felt that it was the next chapter of the song. So a lot of times it was a moment for a dance break or whatever it is. And it should be divided, she said, I think between 6 to 10, but that 8 was a magic number. And then after doing that, they would all listen to that one section, to those sections, and they would come up with a word that would symbolize that section. Mm-hmm. So for example, if it was, if whatever it was, Lose Yourself was the song. So if it was in the chorus, what was it? It was, they were feeling anger or, frustration, whatever it was. I think one of the words was crazy or psycho, something like that. And that demonstrated what they needed to feel and how they needed to perform in that specific chapter of the dance.
So that they all have the same energy, the same facial.
The same communication to the judges, to the audience. And it was a way for them to all get on the same page. So it was really interesting.
And that's cool because I know as a judge, there are times that I'm watching a dance and I have somebody smiling, these big smiles at me, open their mouth, like that, dancing, and then there's somebody who's very focused and serious. Right. And you're okay, so what emotion is it? And I think it's because they don't know what emotion it is.
Right.
They're told, oh, you've got, you're excited. And so this one's excited is with a big mouth, this one's excited is more with an anger.
Right.
So yes, I think that her whole entire thing is very valid in we need to let our dancers know what the emotion is and be at the same emotion.
Right. It gives a unified approach of intention for the dance, which is the main thing. And really, I mean, you watch Minnesota and they are just nobody, like, it's amazing how much they perform, and like you watch them and you just want to like you start dancing with them, because
they sell it.
Yes, they do. And their communication to the audience and the people they're performing for, the judges, whatever it is so intentional that everything that they're doing, every move that it has intention behind it. So it was a really interesting class, and it was a very unique approach. I think I had never heard that kind of approach to pushing performance in a team. And you don't ever think that like a team like Minnesota that is just so professional, so perfect, like there's nothing they can't do, and you don't think that they would ever need to do something like that.
Go back to basics.
Right, but it gives like a humility and humble approach to, like it kind of like, it makes them look a lot more like a, I don't know, we
human.
It humanizes them, exactly. We connect with them more.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I really enjoyed her class, and again, she's great. She's an awesome teacher, awesome coach. So it was really a lot of fun to be in that class.
Yeah, and then I enjoyed Melissa's class, mainly because Melissa's class was about the Common App that they're doing now for colleges. And for me, that's so important for my dancers, because I'm really pushing my dancers to look into these colleges, to apply to these college dance programs, to look at all the different dance teams, but also look at the schools. And it's a lot. Like the programs are really requiring a lot from them, and they're like, between their studios, nationals with their high school, their senior year stuff, and then having to do all these videos for all these different programs, it really is a lot. And now coming together and making this Common App software that the kids are going to be able to just drop everything in there, and everybody shares whatever videos it is or whatever things that they want for the auditions or for the recruitment. I think it's going to help the dancers. So I know that every school is not on board yet. I think that they mentioned there's like 20, 25 schools that have said yes and are participating in this. But I think as many schools as possible could do it. I think it will be great. I think that at the end of the day, our kids are benefiting, and that's why we're doing this, is for our kids. There's no need to have kids, sending a 2-minute video with, all these technique things, and then across the floor, and then a solo and stuff right after nationals or right before nationals, because this one school wants it, and then another school wants something completely different 2 weeks later, and then somebody wants something completely different another week later. So the Common App is going to be a great system for the kids, and Melissa gave a great explanation for as much as they know right now. I think people had great questions of other things that are going to happen, and questioning where else is it going to go. But yeah, I think that it was one of the really good classes that we got to take.
So one of the things I loved about the Common App explanation, because I've had students that have applied for colleges and have done all of those videos, and I've had to help them. And I remember just like, there was one of my kids was doing 3 different college videos, and they were all due within a span of like 3 weeks of each other.
And right after nationals.
Right after nationals. And it was like, I haven't even had a second to breathe. Like, I need a vacation. I need to sleep. And I can't even imagine what she was probably going through. And I remember that it was a lot of the skills in each of them were very similar, but then the requirements were very different. So for example, one of them, off the top of my head, Ohio State, it was a sequential 2-minute video. But then Michigan, it allowed you to have, like you can kind of cut and paste, but then they needed to be done in a specific order or something like that. And like, it was frustrating because we also couldn't take a lot of the skills that were in the Ohio State videos that we could have put into the Michigan. And it's not one, team's fault or anything. It was just that it was a very, it was just a very inefficient way for these kids to be able to prove the same thing, that they can do a triple, a quad, a leap, and a back bend, whatever it was that they needed to do. They had those skills, but they had to showcase them in different ways, in 17 different ways. So I mean, the Common App is great because it's like when you're applying for colleges normally, there is a Common App, and
that was developed for the exact same reason,
right? And it just saved everybody so much time.
Yeah.
And these kids, I mean, it really does put extra stress on them, and having to remember all those deadlines, and then, you know, before you know it, school gets in the way. And
no,
then
they're doing their studio national, studio competitions. They have to take class. They're, you know, it's just, it's so hard for them to be able to manage. And not that they can't, because they'll figure out how to do it, but why?
Yeah.
It really, you know, I think that this with Common App, it is so smart. It is, you know, it really is something that they're going to do that the kids are really going to benefit from. You know, I just think that it's being so considerate of this is what the kids need in order to be successful. And really, that's why we're doing all this, is for the kids.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
What else did I take? I took a class where we did a lot of stretching and conditioning exercises to help with like turns and turn combos. She was great. Oh my God, what was her name? She did a great class. She taught progressions. And, you know, again, I've been doing this for so long. I have like the progressions that I teach, or I'll have like the across the floor that if I have to teach, or a stretch. I'm just stuck in my way because I've been doing it for so long. And it was nice. I saw some like cool different stretches. I was like, oh my God, that's a great stretch I could do.
Yeah.
And she did some great combos, like turn combos, and you know how she like got them going like from this point to that point. So I enjoyed that class a lot as well.
Yeah, I took, at the same time that you were taking that, I took a coaching credentials class, which was all about coaching philosophy. And that one was great. It resonated with me so much because, especially starting out, I think most coaches go through a very difficult transitional period of gaining respect from parents, from students, from your administration. And it was first of all, it was great to see that there was other people that had experienced certain downfalls and, you know, certain situations. And Carrie Smith is the one that actually taught it, and she's hilarious. She's another one that she says things out of pocket sometimes, but it just really embodies
great personality.
Everything. Amazing.
She's wonderful.
She's awesome. And she said that a big thing that we needed to do in order to be successful was to stay very consistent with our philosophies. So she actually did a really incredible activity with us that I love, and I'm going to do it this year with my kids. And she told us to basically write out our own philosophy. So like, you know, what is it that's the number one thing? And for me, when I wrote out my draft, it was a whole thing, and it was how I want to hold myself accountable the same way I expect my kids to be held accountable. And, you know, if I do something wrong, I expect to be told, same as them. And then she said that she did a whole activity very similar with her kids after she read her philosophy to her kids. That they all basically wrote out a recommendation letter for themselves. And they wrote it out. She didn't even explain to them what it was for, but just write out a recommendation letter for yourself. And then they would have to read it out, and she would say, that's what I'm going to hold you accountable for. Like, that's how I'm going to, you know, this is exactly how I'm going to treat you. So if they say, I am a very respectful student, I am the hardest worker in the room, whatever it is, that's how I'm going to hold you. That's the accountability. That's a great idea. No, so it was a really great activity that, you know, that's something that I had never heard, and it's such a great approach because it makes them feel they need to be held accountable for the way that they see themselves. So that was a really great activity. That was awesome. She did a really great class. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
And Carrie Smith also did a great class on cleaning a routine.
Yes.
And again, we've been cleaning routines forever. We have our way of cleaning. So, but she went through the beginning motion. Like, she stood them in the opening spot and was like, where are you standing? Why are you there? Why are you standing like that? Why is your foot there? Why is your eye over there? Like, she just nitpicked each thing and the dancer, like, right off the bat without even moving. And they had come up with a routine right before, so it really was a cleaning of a
It
routine.
was a full cleaning.
And she did a great job. You really saw the difference from when she started to like the half hour, 45 minutes that she was giving them feedback and making them do it again, and just nitpicking and asking the audience, what about this? And audience would give feedback as well. So I think cleaning a routine is something that we all do, and we could always use help in making that better.
Well, and I think that's especially really helpful for any new coaches that have never had to clean a routine, or maybe just they've cleaned their own routines and don't understand how to make it cleaner, whatever it is. I mean,
or don't understand a UDA clean routine,
Right.
because a routine for one competition is not the same as it is for like another competition. Or if you're, if you do studio stuff, it's not the same as if you're going to, nationals for UDA. So it's understanding where you're going and what they're looking for and how you're going to clean the routine for that.
Yeah.
So she was great. She gave great feedback, and I'm excited to see, because when you go to the conference, you can't go to every single class, but you're able to go online and see the classes that you missed. So I'm excited to go and see the classes that I didn't get to see, because there were so many classes I wanted to see and participate in, but I had to pick and choose. I wanted to go into Derek's class with acrobatic arts, and I wasn't able to. So I want to see his course, even though I bring him in and he's taught my kids. I still want to see what he had to do and what he had to teach at the conference.
Yeah, Mandy Yip was there as well, and I know that Mandy Yip with acrobatic arts, and I heard that she did an incredible class too. So I mean, there's so many things, and the great thing is that you can kind of set your own schedule. There's 4 or 5 classes going on at the same time, and you get to pick and choose what you want to take.
And then we had fun at the gala.
The gala was
the
so
cocktails.
fun. I got my 10-year pin.
Yeah.
Very old.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't get any pins or anything this year, so it was an off year for me.
You got one last year, right?
I got my 30-year pin 2 years ago.
That's what it was. And then you got Coach of the Year
last year. I got the Coach of the Year, so I have to wait a couple of years now to get my 35.
Yeah, which the gala is a lot of fun. I mean, again, you get to sit there, you have dinner, you get to dance. Everybody dresses up. It's themed. This year was bigger and brighter, so we were very bright.
They also, I like how they give out awards. They recognize, different coaches for different things that they've done. They do like Hall of Fame, coaches, and bring them up and talk about them and what they've done for the dance community. And it's just such a great experience, and being there with people who have been around for so many years and have done so much in this community, that you get to be in the same room with them. So I enjoyed it. The cocktail hour was a lot of fun as well. So, and then you have vendors that you get to walk around, and they have great offers for you. There was
raffles.
The raffles was great. There was one vendor that she had like a planner. Really cool. I mean, I have my own planner that I make myself, but it's always nice when someone does it pretty.
For you.
And it's like just the binding is just prettier. But it was a great like planner for your year, like that, for your budget,
Right.
costumes, routine, cleaning, like it's all there in order and what you should be doing. So, it's a little different from the process that I do, but still, it was cool to have that. So it was nice that, to have that vendor there. There's vendors with uniforms that, do costumes.
Rebel, I think. Rebel was
yes.
one of the main vendors this year.
So, yeah, I know I've said this before, and there's so many coaches out there that you would benefit from, that find the time to go. The dates just came out for next year. It's the same time. It's May 14, 15, 16, 17, something like that, around there. In Dallas, Texas again. And Dallas, Texas was great. We had a wonderful time. The only thing we didn't do was the line dancing.
I know.
We tried.
We really wanted to go. But
We
that
tried.
dinner that we had was just
Yeah.
way too good.
And we were tired. And we had to wake up early.
did.
But it was such a great experience. And I really loved Dallas a lot. So I'm glad that we're going back there next year.
Yes, next year Dallas. We'll see what they do the following year.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see where they're going to do it.
Maybe they'll come to Miami.
That would be fun. But I do like vacationing.
Yeah.
I do like getting on a plane and going somewhere.
I do too. Not Miami.
Maybe not Miami. Don't come to Miami yet. We're not ready for that.
But anyway, big shout out to Terry Rowe for putting that conference together. I know it's a lot of work, And we appreciate that she puts that together every year. And if you haven't heard her podcast with us, make sure, a couple weeks back, make sure to tune into it and listen to what she has to say, because she has a lot of information about the Common App and about our conference. And definitely, if you didn't make it this year, put it in your calendar, save the date, be there next year.
Yes, and we hope that you enjoyed our podcast episode today and coming on the road with us. And if you have any questions or suggestions, make sure to click on our link tree and fill out our Google form.
All right, Showoffs, hope to see you at our next On the Road. We're going to be with Tribe 99, so we'll see you there. Bye.